In order to have days like this, you're going to have days like this. This is Tips on Tuesday. We're going to talk about what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Stay tuned so you don't feel like doing this. If you like these videos, please subscribe and give us a like. And if you have anything to add to the conversation or any questions, please leave them below. Let's first talk about the buttons. The button's flush. That does the fill plus the macerator. And these buttons is fill, where you can see it just fills up the tank. And it's filling with salt water. And this one is the flush button. And all it does is turn on the macerator. Now, fill just fills it up. And the macerator button just pumps it out. And once it takes everything out of there, it doesn't have anything more coming in. So, now show the buttons. So, flush does both fill and macerator. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using the macerator pump, and we're going to fill it with fresh water from the shower head. So what we want to do is we want to get all the salt water out of the system. So I'm just going to fill this bowl up with fresh water from the tank. Now I'm going to flush that completely out. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close off the valve down here. So this is the valve right here that pushes, that all the crap has to go through to go into the ocean. So now we're going to close that. So now that's closed. And what we're going to do now is we're going to start the process. So this is hydrochloric acid. It's called muriatic acid, but same as hydrochloric acid. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to flush this in. What you're going to do is you're going to be smelling the we should be hearing some fizzing. I don't hear the fizzing noise. Okay, so one of the things that I think is, now I'm going to fill this up a little bit, because what I want is I want to keep the hydrochloric acid away from all the bits down at the bottom, because we have a one-way valve and that's mostly all going to be clean. It's up here where you're going to have the problem with the scale and in the tank. And as this goes up and over and into the tank, it's going to react first very quickly with all the scale that's in the pipes and in the tank. So now we're just going to let it sit for a little while. While we wait the 2 hours for the reaction to finish up, let's take a look at the standard electric marine toilet system installed in most cruising vessels. And here it is.
If you got one of these vacuum systems, well, you're probably not watching this channel, and you probably can afford to pay the very expensive marine plumber to fix everything up for you. Just peachy. There it is, folks. This is the system on Aquarius, and it's not too complicated. And plumbers make a shitload of cash to fix this stuff. Think about it. It's a dirty job, and unless you can do it yourself, somebody else will get well paid to fix your crap. Everything here centers around the toilet, which is where you delivered the goods. So if you press the flush button, water pump pushes water into the bowl and also turns on the macerator pump, which chops up your delivery and pushes it up through this one-way valve, then up this hose into this tank. If you press the macerator button, well then, it only chops up what's in the bowl and pumps it into the pipe. Then, because there's nothing else to chop up and no additional water to push out, the macerator pump only makes noise. You can also press the fill button, which will pump water into the bowl. And if you keep pressing it, it will just overflow and fill the bathroom with salt water. When to press these buttons and for how long is the question most guests and newbie sailors should want to know. That's later in this video. Now, where were we? We've left the acid in the pipe and some in the tank for 2 hours. Let's get back to work.
You're gonna put the second one?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the second one in, and I'm gonna get it.
Are you sure?
Yep. I want it done. Okay, this is our second bottle.
Can you stop it and say it into the camera?
This is the second bottle of hydrochloric acid, or muriatic acid. And of course, we're not mixing it with salt water. We're gonna flush this down all by itself. I can't really smell any reaction right now. So the second bottle, it's probably, I smell a little bit of reaction, but not much. But we'll also, this time we'll fill it up a little bit. We'll try to get the hydrochloric acid away from the one-way valve, and we'll get it away from all the bits in the motor. It's still gonna see a little bit, but the one-way valve is gonna keep all the motor from seeing much of the hydrochloric acid. So now we're gonna leave it for about 2 hours. Then we're gonna fill the tank, flush it all through with fresh water twice. Then what we'll do is we'll let it sit in the tank for 2 hours, cleaning up the tank as much as possible. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna open the valve. And when we open the valve, we're gonna look and see what comes out of the tank. So we're filling up the bowl with fresh water. What we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to flush all of the hydrochloric acid into the tank. So we're just going to use the pump, the macerator pump, to flush it all out. Now we're going to fill it up again, and we'll just do the same thing again. And there you go. In about 2 hours, we'll open up that valve, and then we'll flush it through with a lot of salt water. Well, it's been about 2 hours. Been to the store and back. Now we're gonna open up the valve. Now we're flushing it with salt water. And the salt water should, basically take away any of the power of the acid. the other thing that it did was it made this valve much easier to turn.
Show it with where's the valve is.
So now this valve is much easier to turn. Before we could barely turn it with the wrench. Now we can turn it easily. So the last thing we're gonna do to the toilets is we're gonna put a bunch of this vegetable oil down it and continuously move the valve down there so that we can get a lot of this into that valve. So we have vegetable oil in the valve and to make it run smoother for longer. So let's do that. So that's enough. We're just going to use fresh water because I think it's better to use fresh water for this particular task. Now we're going to send all of that up and over. All right, so it's all in the tank now. And now what we'll do is we're just going to exercise this valve, moving that oil water down through there. And there you go. We got a bunch of oil on that valve. And that valve is working really, really good. What do you think about that, babe?
It's perfect.
All right. Now, I just have to go do the back bathroom now. Now, just real quick, we're going to talk about how to use the saltwater toilets. If you're offshore, if you're someplace where you can dump, you've got this valve down here open like it's open right now. And you're using salt water in the toilet. You want to make sure you flush this long enough with just salt water so there's no pee and poo up in this pipe going from down here all the way up. So you want to push everything up and over and into your black water tank. If you're in a marina, what you probably want to do is you probably want to put one toilet open and only pee in the toilet, and put one toilet in back where you can have an emergency. But the one toilet that's open, make sure you flush everything out of the toilet and everything out of those pipes so you never have a pipe that has pee and salt water in it, because it will build up your pipes until they're full, and then it will burn out your macerator pump. And once you have to do that, you'll have to replace the macerator pump, and you'll have to replace the pipe all the way down and clean it up. So make sure you do that. If you're in a marina and you have to flush the toilet and you have to keep that valve closed, then use fresh water to flush your toilet. Don't use salt water. And then you don't have to worry about leaving stuff in the pipe because it won't build up in your pipe. And that's it. Just make sure you flush everything all the way through and flush enough times. And that's why, you know, it's always the guest toilet that ends up having the problem, because they don't flush it enough. They think that, oh, I don't want to flush the macerator pump too much, but they should. Just flush it. Make sure you flush it all the way through. Fill that whole bowl all the way up with salt water, not fresh water, and then flush it all the way down. So let's fill it all the way up. And once it gets all the way up, I'm not going to fill it all the way up, flush it all the way through. Flush everything out. Maybe even do that twice sometimes just to make sure that you get it all out. There you go.
If you like this video, give us a like down below and click here to subscribe. That really helps us. And if you want to watch more of us, click one of those.
They said they came from Spanish.